Welcome to yet another class session. It is indeed a pleasure to have you on board this afternoon. How are you doing? How are we doing? Awesome. Are you ready for this session? I trust that you are because indeed I am too. All right. So, any questions, any concerns? Anything you want for us to talk about before we jump right into this session? No? Yes? All right, not a problem. I'm super excited that you're all doing well and you look pretty lovely this afternoon. So, for sure, we are going to jump right into our session. All right, so let me just share my screen with you. All right, so while I'm about to share my screen with you, I'm going to show you some pictures and then I want for you to name each item. So the first one here, what is the name? Name this item. All right, a mouse. So what I want for you to do, you're going to write the correct name beneath, right? So you're seeing that this is a mouse. All right. So let me just allow this to be a bit bigger. I think it's too small. All right, so that's your mouse there. That's your mouse there. All right, so look at the second picture. What are you seeing here? All right, fish. That's your fish. How about this one? The third picture here, how about this one? Wind, representing wind, right? The windmill. Awesome, wind. Are you able to see what I'm projecting, what I'm writing there? I trust that you are also writing the correct names beneath, right? So let me just allow this to be bigger as well. Wind. And the fourth picture here. Is it scary? You're afraid of snakes? All right, you're afraid of them? I think I am too. Really, really scared of them. So this is, all right, snake. And the last picture that we're looking at. What is the name of this item here? All right, the sun, right? I think I need to replace that one. So we're looking at the, why is it not coming off? All right, let me scroll down a little bit. The sun, right? Awesome. So what I want for you to do, you're going to now think of a word to describe each item. So think of a possible word to describe each item. So with the mouse, what word would you want to use? All right, majority saying quiet, not a problem, quiet. All right. How about fish? How about fish? Let me allow this to be bigger on the screen as well. All right, so fish, swim. Looking at wind. What word would you want to use to describe the wind? Could you say that again for me? The wind. What word would you want to use? All right, fast. And how about snake? Sneak, sneaky, okay. And lastly, sun. This needs to be bigger, all right. How about the sun? So bright. Great job. So now what I want for you to do, you're going to raise your hands if you've ever been told that you are quiet as a mouse. All right, Amelia, Jaquan, Jaden, you have been told so? Right, so you've been told that you're as quiet as a mouse. All right, how about your swim like a fish? How about that one? You swim like a fish. You've been told that as well? So we don't have any swimmers in class today? All right. All right, I think I can join you as well because I cannot swim, right? How about sneaky, like sneaky as a snake? Yes? No? All right, you have been told so, Jamelia. Okay. As bright, you're as bright as the sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of us. Wow, that's a lot. All right, so you're as bright as the sun. Awesome. And the last one, have you been told that you run as fast as the wind? Oh, so we have one runner in class today. Davian, awesome. All right. So based on this little activity here, what do you think we're talking about today? All right, it seems like I have bright students for real. So you're really as bright as the sun. Similes, right? Awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share with you the specific objectives. All right, so you've stated before that we are going to look at similes. Indeed, you're correct. So by the end of this session, you should be able to define similes, compare and contrast similes and metaphors. Yesterday we touched on metaphors, right? All right. You should be able to identify similes in writing, identify and generate similes in a variety of contexts, and finally, you're supposed to explain the purpose of similes and their uses to enhance writing. So I'm going to get my board. Let me double check if my screen is sharing because sometimes it tends not to, right? Awesome. So I'm going to get my screen. You know, I love to use my screen, right? So we're going to focus now on the Venn diagram. So on the Venn diagram, we're going to place our attention on the similes versus metaphors, right? So you should be thinking already, or you're right, thinking on your feet. So let's go. All right. So this is my drawing is not up to par, right? All right, so this, on this side, we're going to put similes. That's SIMILE. And then metaphors, METAPHOR. Metaphors, right? So similes, metaphors. All right, so when we talk about similes and metaphors, what do they have in common? What is similar to both? Let me change my marker. All right, they're both figures of speech. Yes, they are. Awesome. Figures of speech. Are you able to see this marker? Is it bright enough? Awesome. So they're both figures of speech. Anything else? All right, used to create mental picture. All right, they're used to create mental pictures. Let me just change this marker then. Used to create mental pictures. That's CREATE. You said mental, MENTAL, mental pictures. PICTURE. All right, anything else? Do you have anything else in common? No? Yes? All right, so what do you know about the similes? All right, so they use like our eyes to compare, all right, one thing to another. Beautiful. Like slash as to compare. TO to compare one thing to another, yes? To another. All right, so anything else we want to add to similes? When we talk about simile, all right, make explicit comparison. All right, so I'm going to put explicit here. Explicit comparison. Awesome. Explicit comparison here. Anything else we want to add? RISON. Anything else we want to add? Not a problem. All right, so how about metaphors then? So compares without use of like or as. So compares without like, LIKE, like or as, slash as. Anything else? Beautiful. So it make implicit comparison, right? Implicit comparison. Anything else? All right. Awesome job. All right. So I'm going to play a video for you. I want for you to place your attention here. All right. Awesome job. Love the fact that you're all thinking, yes? So I'm going to play the video for you. So ensure that you pay attention. All right, so just give me a moment. Let me get this video up for you. All right, so here goes.
So what are similes? A simile is a figure of speech. It's a comparison of two things, usually using the words as or like. So here's some examples. Her eyes were as blue as sapphires. So it compares her eyes to sapphires. Her teeth are as white as snow. They sing like angels. His woolen scarf hung around his neck like a dead skunk. So why should you care about similes? Well, similes can be a great way to explain or promote an idea. Now, they're far more common in creative writing than they are in business writing. They're used to create a mental picture. So let's look at some examples. Holmes looked at him thoughtfully like a master chess player who meditates his crowning move. So now you've got an idea of how thoughtfully he looked at him. It creates that mental picture. The water made a sound like kittens lapping. Sometimes it can be about sounds as well, so you're now imagining kittens lapping at some water. Well, that's the sound you can hear. Dark trees bending together as though whispering secrets paints that image of the trees swaying in the wind. Meaningless as the syllables of an unknown tongue. So not just meaningless, but completely meaningless, like you don't know what it means at all. So let's carry on thinking about why you should care about syllables. Well, we did say you can also use them in business writing. Used sparingly in business writing, they can be memorable and impactful. So here's an example. Plan A would be like throwing the pilot out of a stricken aircraft to make it lighter. Now, Plan A might be something very complex, but this simile makes it clear what you think about Plan A. In other words, you think it's counterproductive. Be careful with similes in business writing, though, because a tired simile, a cliche, can sink you. And also, if you overuse similes in business writing, they can portray you as flippant or dull. So here's one. As much use as a chocolate teapot. Well, you might not have heard of that simile before, but take it from me, it's very common, and it's a bit boring. So this idea of how a simile can sink you was captured by the painter Salvador Dali, who said, the first man to compare the cheeks of a young woman to a rose was obviously a poet. The first to repeat it was possibly an idiot. Now, if we're going to talk about similes, we have to talk about metaphors, because they're quite similar. Now, a metaphor, we do have a video on that, asserts that one thing is something that it literally isn't. So a simile is a comparison using as or like, but a metaphor states that something is something else. So John is like a weasel. John is a weasel. So quite similar, but one is a simile, the comparison, the other that states that it is something is a metaphor. Let's look at another example. Her focus was like a laser. That's the simile. A metaphor, again, similar. Her focus was a laser. Something equals something else. That's a metaphor. Her laser-like focus fixed on her rivals. So you can see her focus was like a laser. But we've just mixed up the way that it's presented. But it's still a simile. Her laser eyes fixed on her rivals. Now, the thing about metaphors is it's not always something is something. They can also be created by using non-literal words. So here we've got laser, an adjective describing eyes, or clearly her eyes are not lasers. That's what makes it a metaphor. So let's summarize. A simile is a comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind, usually using the word like or as. Run like the wind. That would be a simile. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out some of our other videos on grammarmonster.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook.
All right, awesome. So what have you learned from this video? What have you learned from this video? All right, so the simile really do Go ahead. Right. So it really described, right? Something using what? Like or as. And there are multiple examples that were given, right? Are we clear on this? I think pretty much this simile is quite easy to identify, being that you're using like or as. Yes? So it's really showing the comparison of one thing to another with the use of like or as. While with the metaphor, you're able to do what? Right. So you can either use non-literal words, right, to describe something which is, something which is like something, should I say. All right. So are you able now to, do you think we're able to do a little activity here? All right. Awesome. What have I done? All right. So I'm going to get my timer and I'm going to set it for 5 minutes. You know, I like my timer, right? So I'm going to set it for 5 minutes for you to complete this task. All right, go ahead. So you have 3 minutes and 26 seconds to go. In a couple seconds remaining. So we have just about a minute to go. So double check. Some of us are finished. Yes, some of us are still working. You have a minute to go. All right. So the time is up there, right? Our time is up. So what was your score? What was your score? All right. Some of us got everything correct. All right. So what's the lowest? 8 out of the total. Awesome. Awesome job. So do you understand the use of a simile? You understand how to identify them? All right. So I trust that you have mastered that exercise there, right? I love that. So just to recap, we're just going to recap, and then I'm going to provide you with your assignment, right? So in full, when we talk about the simile, remind me again of the meaning when we talk about the simile. All right, so that's a good way to put it, Deshawn. I love that. That's a good way to put it. Yes. So in fact, when we talk about the simile, we are supposed to be aware that it is really a figure of speech, right? And it really lightens one thing to another, usually using the word like or as. So once you're reading and you're able to come across the words rather like or as, then you know that they're referring to a simile. That's an easy way to identify a simile. For example, you could see, I am as poor as a church mouse, right? So you're hearing the as coming out in that sentence. So once you hear the like or the as, you know we're talking about what? Awesome, Ashley, the use of the metaphors, the simile there, right? I think metaphor is on my mind. Another example could be, he is hungry like a wolf. Would you like to share one with me? Go ahead and share one with me. So I'm going to call names. I'm going to call about 3 names. So you don't know who I'm going to call, so ensure that you are right doing what you're supposed to. So Deshawn, go ahead. All right, she sings like an angel. Awesome. She sings like an angel. Ashley Ann, provide me with one of them. The use of simile. He was as cool as the other side of the pillow. Awesome. So he was as cool as the other side of the pillow. Uh, go ahead and provide me with one, Daily. Karen, go ahead, provide me with one of them. All right, so his wooden scarf hung around his neck like a dead skunk. Awesome. So once we know the use of the like or the as, then we're on our way in terms of identifying the simile. All right. So for your assignment, you are going to create your own advertisement of a chosen product, and you're going to use similes to enhance your advertisement. All right, so that's your assignment. So any product of your choice that you want to use, you're able to do so, right? And you're incorporating the use of the simile. Do we have any questions? Any concerns? No? Yes? All right, since there are no questions, no concerns, then we are surely going to say bye for now.